What's going on, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful week so far. I don't know where in the world you are, but it feels like things are kind of slowly easing up with COVID, which is lovely. There's a few shows seeing pop up. The summer is on its way and feeling pretty positive, so I hope you are as well. This week on the podcast, I have an artist called Jansons. Jansons, I came across him. He's been around for a while, releasing some insane music, but I came across him, well, I talk about it on the podcast, but I came across him with his remix of Tommy Farry, Let's Just, and it's just an unbelievable record. I wanted to get in touch with him and just get him on the podcast and kind of have a conversation. I'd never met him or spoke to him before, so this is our first conversation we've ever had, so it's kind of like the first date, but it was great. He's a lovely guy, and I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, Jansons, and we are live. Jansons, what's cooking, man?
Easy, mate. You good?
Yeah, man. What's going on with this camera angle?
But it's on my well, it's weird in my studio. It's like I've had to keep changing my seats because the monitors are too high. I've got a stupid desk, and then I just put the camera onto the monitor, so it's quite high up.
Are we getting your good angle? This is like your your good angle, isn't it? And also, I've got to apologize. It might sound really shit, this podcast, because I'm in my studio and I'm just had decorators in the studio. So I literally have nothing. As you can see, my speakers are just randomly there, and it's just an echoed room. I don't have any of the treatment up, and it just sounds awful.
Sounds all right, mate. Sounds all right.
That's good then. I can just hear a massive echo or a reverb in the background. I'm like, this is awful.
You're all right. So you sound pretty close up and dry here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Mate, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I came across your music. I've kind of known you were around for a while, and then I came across your Tommy Farry remix of Let's Just.
Oh, yeah.
And Tommy's a good mate of mine, and he asked me to remix the record. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. But I just couldn't come up with anything good. And then you came up with something unbelievable, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't try, because I would have made it so shit compared to yours.
Yeah, no, it can't quite easy, that one. I wanted to do, because when I produce records, I don't really have like a set theme. Although it's based on sort of house music, if I'm in a mood of wanting to do something more like electronic or melodic, I'll just do it. Yeah. And that sort of lent that way, because it's got all the nice pads and the chords and stuff. So it's come together pretty quick. The
original was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a massive tune, wasn't it? Yeah.
Fucking he sent that to me before he sent it to anyone. And I was like, this is when I wish I had a record label that was up and running at the time, because it's an unbelievable record. Yeah. But I didn't think anyone could make a better job of the original with the remix, and you did. And
thank you.
I was like, wow, this is unreal. And then also, I didn't realize that Sonny Wharton was your manager, and Sonny is an old mate of mine from years ago.
Right. Okay.
And now I'm like, so I know Gene pretty well, who obviously Sonny manages. I know Jess pretty well from years ago through Sam, and now he put us in touch, and I'm like, it's just a wonderful circle, right?
Wicked, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, Sonny's great, isn't he? He's a top guy.
I called him earlier. I realized I hadn't spoke to him on the phone for probably about 2 years. We always talk, but never had a proper conversation for a long time. So I called him and was like, mate, we need to do this more often. But we put the world to right for a good hour. It was all right. It was all right. But how's things, man? So what is the plan with what you're doing? Where are you at? Where are you at in the world? Where are you from? I know nothing about you. So apart from literally I know your music and I know what you do in the music industry, but I've never met you in my life.
Hopefully you will when
100%.
Go out again.
100%. And your studio looks pretty naughty. It looks.
Yeah, mate, I've been here a lot. So I've been here 7 years now in this studio in North London, in Hornsey. I was in Hackney before, but because I'm in here a lot, I do engineering as well. Yeah. It didn't have no window, one in Hackney. Yeah. the box, dark box was getting to me. So I said, I need to get out. I live in North London as well.
Okay.
And this one sort of popped up. It was a bit more expensive. I was a bit nervous at the time. I was going to my girlfriend, should I do it? She goes, you'll be all right. You get the clients in, whatever, and stuff like that. So then I moved here. I've been here 7 years, but to be honest, I want to move again now. As you can see, I'm literally stacking up simps on simps. It's a bit ridiculous. I've got like a tiny bit of space for the keyboard, and that's it. I'm literally like this.
Yeah.
I'm running in my studio trying to work. So, but it's hard in London, especially to find good studio spaces, and they're so expensive. And to be honest, because of the pandemic, I'm thinking of moving out of London as well. That's like the plan for the future.
I don't blame you. Have you heard of the Cube Studios?
Where is that?
It's not north. It's like more south.
Yeah. Where are you based anyway?
It depends. Because of the pandemic, obviously I'm from the UK, but I'm in Somerset,
lovely.
which is like unbelievable. But when I'm touring, I'm based out of Detroit in America.
Oh, wicked. Okay.
So, yeah, like complete polar opposites. Detroit and
yeah, that is a bit more different. Yeah,
Detroit and cheddar is just worlds apart. But I love it here. I'm really lucky. Like I have the countryside and kind of can get to go out in the.
Yeah, so I kind of want that now. I never thought I wanted that.
Like, how old are you?
I'm 40 now. So
yeah, man, get out to the countryside.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's game changer.
That's it. And I need a big garden because we've got a flat, and it's like we've got a communal garden, but
it's not the same, is it?
I do like London for the pubs and stuff like that, but you can't really go to them now. So
yeah.
I've got a dog as well now, so he needs more space and stuff like that. So
I think London's really a really cool city if you're like wanting to like really hustle in making music with like.
That's the main reason I did it as well, because my main sort of job when I was just engineering, so I thought it was a good hub to be at, people to get to the studio and stuff like that. But what I've realised now, I have people coming from Scotland or Ireland sometimes, whatever. If they want to come to see you, they'll come and see you no matter what.
Exactly.
And with the pandemic, I've adapted a little bit, and I'm doing remote stuff. There's like this software called Audio Move.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah, it's great.
So put Skype on the camera, and it's literally like you're there anyway.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it now. So
yeah, I don't really do engineering for people. I used to, but I've done a bit of writing for people in the last like couple of months.
Okay.
And that Audio Move was Shadow Child put me onto it.
It's wicked.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's really good, mate. Yeah, because I do some kind of like Ben Rau's in Berlin or something. It's just a great way of working, you know. It's perfect. Yeah.
But there's still something about sorry for anyone that's listening that doesn't know what Audio Movers is, or it's an app that you download as like a plugin and put it on your door, and then you can send the streamer link to whoever wants to listen, and they get literally like studio quality stream, and there's like 0.1 of a second latency. It's like practically you push a key and they hear it. It's great.
It's wicked, yeah.
But there is still something about being in the studio with somebody that's just different.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. And to be honest, I mean, the people I work with now, they're not friends as well, just like hanging out. You know what I mean? So you build up relationships, and obviously you get to repeat business, isn't it? And you work with them, you start to get their vision and their sound and where they go, and just like, it just flows, it gets easier. It's a bit hard, especially if it's a new client or something like that, and they're, don't know, you never met them before, and it's all that. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So always together.
How do you work when you're like writing with an artist? Let's say, for instance, like, okay, I come to you and I'm like, dude, I wanna write a few EPs. Like, what's your process like from the get go?
Well, it's like I said, once you've worked with someone, you know the sort of sound they want to do. So it's like that. But when it's like new people, I really like stress to them, really come prepared. Like, even if you just get a little loop going, or come in with samples, come in with tracks you really like. If you like a bass line from that track, sort of get it. So it gives me an idea of your vision and where you want to take it, where you want to go. I said, the more you come prepared, the better results you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
no, I totally agree, because it's tough, isn't it? Because pretty much you're doing the engineering, right? So somebody's being the producer and you're being the engineer, really. But there is a huge art to being a producer as well as an engineer.
You know what? It's really good because you said that, because I work with different people and they've all got different ideas, and you learn it from them as well. You're learning new techniques that, you've got your way of working and your productions, and someone comes in with like, try that, or let's throw a curveball in it, something like that, and you think that's a wicked idea.
Yeah.
And you might make a wicked patch, and you think I'm going to save that for later on and stuff like that. So,
How does it affect your production though?
What, but my own time?
Yeah,
it's hard, like getting the balance, because obviously in an ideal world, I want to be producing for myself every day, but you've got to pay the bills and stuff like that. The studio's not cheap either and stuff like that. So I try and be really strict. More sometimes if you've got like a bit of extra money you need to earn, you'll do it. But I try to do like at least give myself 2 to 3 days in the week for myself. Yeah. But to be honest, sometimes I'm so hungry to get records done, I'll just engineer, then in the evening I'll stay on till like say midnight and just do like 4 hours on my own stuff. Yeah. So I'm in here a lot basically. Yeah. I'm in here more than home, definitely.
I bet your missus loves it. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Especially like when because tell me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to kind of come across like disrespectful, but you're in your artist career. As an artist, you're like still quite new into what you're like releasing music.
I've actually had a big chat with my agent manager today. I said I've got probably got my most music coming out this year. I've got a really steady thing. I said we really need to maximize that, maybe get some press in. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm releasing records. I do well, but I'm just plodding along. I need to really elevate and like get all the exposure.
Don't get pressing.
No.
Do not get pressing. And this is the one thing, and this is only me, like a bit of advice.
Go on.
Just don't get pressing.
Yeah.
It's the biggest waste of money.
Yeah.
Especially at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times, and that's the only reason why I would say don't do it. To create a hype, you need those like USPs, right? So you need selling points, and your music is great, if you know what I mean. But at this moment in time, what is everyone talking about? Do you fit in that realm of like being what everyone wants to talk about? Because no one's actually talking about great music right now.
Yeah.
It's all about everything else. It's about who I am as a person. Where do you sit in the social chain?
Yeah, that's what I struggle. That's how I really need to. I totally get what you're saying. Like, I need to bring my personality more across to my socials. Yeah. I find the socials so hard. Like, I'm doing things like I do little studio jams, stuff like that. They do quite well. But you're only ever going to appeal to more music. You will appeal to some ravers, but not most ravers. Don't really care about how a record's made. Do you know what I mean? They want to see that person who's out and about and stuff like that, which I need to definitely work on. Do you know what I mean? So
if you had wanted to spend money on something, and it was, if you were going to go and spend, because press is expensive. And the thing with press, and I think it's really interesting conversation, because I've done it so many times where I'm like, okay, I want to build some hype. Let's get the press in. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, this is the goals that I want out of doing a year's worth of press. Okay, you're dropping depending on how much your retainer is. If you're working on a retainer thing, you might be dropping like 15, 20 grand a year on press. Yeah. If you're taking if they're
a lot,
it's a lot of money. So, and also in press, they don't guarantee you anything.
No.
So for me, like, as much, I've got friends in press and I love them to bits, but at this moment in time, there's better ways to put money into something. Spend 20 grand on somebody to film you all day. And be like, mate, I'm going to give you practically a full-time wage in the UK. I'm going to give you 20 grand this year. And have somebody filming you and build a YouTube channel. And that's another income. You don't have to be teaching. It doesn't have to be you teaching people. It can be just a life of Jansons in London. And they're filming like 2-3 days a week. And they're building an episode a day. Like, that's a fucking great idea. And
that is a good idea, yeah.
And I think that way you get your personality across.
Yeah.
That way you have content for your social media that you're not creating yourself, because you've got somebody creating it for you. So you take out
That's what you need. It's like a full-time job in itself, that, isn't it?
It is.
It's harder than making music.
It is. And that's the thing, is like, you didn't grow up with social media. Neither did I.
No.
If you know what I mean. So unless you're like on it from the get-go, you don't know, if you know what I mean. And it's the marketing. So for any artist nowadays that thinks press is the good thing, I don't think it helps at all.
Well, I've always been, to be honest, I've always been wary about it. But I was speaking to old agents and stuff. He says maybe just do it for a month or so, because you've got so much releases coming out. Just try and get some feature in a magazine or DJ mag or something like that. But I don't know, mate. Unless it's interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think press, and this sounds awful. I was actually talking to do you know Got Some, Adam?
No.
So he does like releases under Got Some, his name is. But there's a lot of things we do in the music industry that is purely to stroke our own egos.
Right, yeah.
But we think it's to benefit our careers.
Yeah.
And press is one of those.
Yeah.
Unless you're front cover of DJ Mag.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
No one.
That's what I say. I always say that when I got records coming, it goes, "Oh, do you want to do this interview?" I was saying, "Well, it's like an evening work, and no one's gonna fucking read it." So I'm doing interviews anyway. So
yeah.
Sorry to swore then.
No, you can swear all you want, mate. It's this how I feel about mixes to a certain extent. I think that's changed now as well. I think it's got to be video streams, isn't it? I think it's like that. But there's reasons to do it, and then there's reasons not to do it, right? And I think if press, like Sonny, your manager, could be your press agent. Yeah. He works just as hard as a press agent would. He probably knows just the same amount of people. Like, if you wanted an interview of DJ Mag or Mix Mag or whatever, he could go and get that for you. Because you guys I know how Sonny works. He's been the same since I've ever met him. He'll set goals and he'll go and get it. But I really think nowadays is actually about doing what everyone else isn't doing. And people want to get to know you as a person.
100%. I totally agree, yeah.
So it's like, how do we build something that... I'm in the same position at the moment. I'm still trying to work it out. What do I need to do?
Because I'm not that. I'm quite shy on the thing. So some people on Instagram, they're just like fearless. They're so confident. They've got all the chat. They can do like 25 stories a day effortlessly. Yeah, I have to plan a story. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that.
and that's the thing is. But this is the interesting thing, right? This is like therapy 101 now. Didn't know this would turn into a therapy session for both of us. But it's like, okay, so you're an engineer, right?
Yeah.
And a producer. People come to you because they're not the best at engineering. They might have these great ideas, but they come to somebody that's better at what they want to do than them. So they come to you, they pay you. So you do exactly the same. Pay somebody that's better at social media to do your social media.
Mate, it's a light bulb moment. You're totally right. Yeah. I think I've always, because someone actually said, like, if he say when we was DJing, to get a video guy, things like that, because that really helps, isn't it? Stuff like that. I've actually bought GoPros this week as well. Here it is. For things like that, for going around. It's really good for studio when you're sort of point of view stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great.
That which would be good. Little things like that will help as well.
Yeah, I started it. I have like on my YouTube. On my last tour, or maybe 2020 and 2019, I started doing like a vlog, and it was just me with the GoPro going around on tour, really, and just like
I just find it.
loved
I suppose
it.
it's easier when you don't have any more to do it.
You get used to it. You feel like a dick holding a camera in front of your face in public.
Give them a little stick as well.
Yeah, I would have it, but I'm empty in this studio. But it's yeah, you're just walking around. You look like a fucking bellend. But you kind of get used to it. And those videos, they didn't do well, but it's building a persona, and it was fun to do it. And also, I paid somebody to edit it, so. And that's the thing. There's so many companies out there that want to do your social media, and I think it's bullshit. Like, these companies charge so much money. It's the same as press. They charge so much money. There's so.
I wouldn't want that either. Yeah, like, 'cause you want it to be personal still. Like,
exactly.
I can see you a mile off, and it's not the person doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We all can. Which means
fair enough. If you're a mega superstar DJ, you probably ain't got time or anything to do that. I get that.
Nah, come on, man. It's how long does it take?
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
How long have we got? Like, this is my argument that, like, people doesn't. I've always been lucky with social media, and I've always done pretty well on social media. I wouldn't say my socials are amazing, but they're pretty good. Yeah. And everyone's like, "How have you got that? How has that happened?" And it's just because I'm just like a human being I respond to everyone. Yeah,
that's why. Yeah, I respond on comments, stuff like that. I always,
you have to.
People message me. I love getting a message. I'm always going to reply back, things like that. I think it's great. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good thing to do. Yeah.
You have to respond to everyone, and especially when you're touring, we have so much free time. We're sat on in an airport for like 2 hours, 3 hours every day, twiddling our thumbs. Like, we have time, but I honestly think, man, if you're thinking about doing press, fuck that off. Get somebody in. As a bit of an investment. It might cost a bit, and it might be like, this doesn't feel right.
You've got to get out of your comfort zone a bit as well, I think, with things like this, and like, you've got to think outside the box, right? Because it's all well and having good records, but you need more now, don't you? Because there's so many people out there doing it and stuff, and I also stick out.
I also think it's just another opportunity for a revenue stream.
Yeah.
You don't know, like, if you do put like a YouTube video up and the thumbnail's right and the title of the video is right, and you upload it and it just happens to get into the algorithm, like, you can go from 0 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in a couple of weeks, and then I
haven't got a YouTube channel either, so you recommend that? Definitely.
Yeah, I think nowadays it sucks because it's taken away from the music, and the music industry is not necessarily the music industry now. It's the brand.
What's your thoughts on TikTok, by the way?
Sorry?
What's your thoughts on TikTok?
Oh, man.
I can't face that one.
I'm doing some writing for someone at the moment, and that person does pretty well on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's changed my mind on it.
Really?
Yeah. And we're in different situations. That person is pretty good looking, and it definitely helps. But there's also, like, I'm like,
good
what?
dancer as well, probably.
No, but it's kind of like pretty attractive, but also like very holds themselves well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But both that person is blowing up on lots of different levels, if you know what I mean. So I think what it is the combination of just that person doing everything, and everything. Timing is so key in this industry, which you know. Like,
you're right. Yeah,
timing is so key. But I think YouTube is actually a very interesting way to actually earn another revenue. Like,
I think YouTube, like, what I know about YouTube as well is the Twitch site, especially in the lockdowns, and make like disclosure Twitch videos, wicked.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, amazing, like showing you so many techniques and going through their records. I love that.
Yeah. And
I was thinking, I'd like to do that as well. I'd do like a sort of hangout thing, just sit there and just come and join me, whatever, mess around. I haven't got around to doing it. I should do it. I think that'd be a good thing to do as well. Yeah,
I think what I found at the beginning of lockdown, you get offered, like, you see everyone doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And then what for me I had to do, and I don't know what it is for you, but I had to sit back and be like, okay, this is the lockdown. The lockdown's going to pass. But this has made me realize that, like, okay, maybe I need to look at elsewhere on what I want to build in my life outside of music or inside of music.
Yeah.
And is that, do I want to build up my Twitch? Do I want to build up my YouTube? Do I want to do this? What excites me? Because at the end of the day, we're all doing something that we absolutely love, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want to do something. We don't want to start something, or I don't want to start something, half-ass it because I think it could be a bit of an earner. But realize we know how long it takes to earn money in music. It takes fucking years.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's going to be the same if we do that on any other platform doing something else.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh.
Getting the notifications off.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I got asked to do Twitch from Twitch. And I was like, I know how long it's going to take and how much time it's going to take for me to
doing production things on Twitch,
production, live stuff, things like that. And I was like, for me to build this up, I know it's going to take me a good 2-3 years. So it's a very good income for me. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. It doesn't work with what I want to do.
Yeah.
But do I want to do something else on another platform? Maybe. It's just, for me, it's just working out exactly what excites you.
Yeah. And what did you focus on then over this last year? What have you focused on?
Writing a lot of music.
Yeah, that's what I've sort of done.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I've had like the engineering still over it to keep me going financially. But I've really made the most of I was lucky because like my studio is like a 5-minute cycle or a 20-minute walk. So I made the first few months I was a bit like, I don't want to do it, panicky, at home a lot. But then I thought, right, let's make the most of this now. You still getting the engineering work. Just get in there and just make those records. And I think it's actually been good. I've done some good collabs as well, which I probably never would have done. I even learned like even just little things like editing video. Like I never would have done that before. So good things to come out of it.
I think that's the thing, is a lot of careers are going to come out of COVID stronger than what they were when they came in.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, is like we've just got to do what makes you happy. Yeah. I don't want to do something that doesn't make me happy at the end of the day, especially during COVID, because it's fucking
you want
depressing.
to wake up being excited. That's what I do. Yeah. Get to the studio, things like that, because that's what makes you happy. Definitely.
Exactly. So for me, I've done a lot of music and I've done a lot of thinking about about what I want to do. I've like started a few other projects completely outside of music that's got nothing to do with anything music.
Right.
And also I've like filmed a cooking show.
Are you into cooking?
I've
actually done a bit of cooking as well. I've never done that before.
Yeah, I love cooking. So I filmed like, it's still being edited at the moment, but I've filmed like 11 episodes of like a cooking show.
How is it? Just what? You're getting people into what? Is it you cooking?
Yeah, it's just me cooking.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's just me cooking a bunch of shit.
What are you going to do? Are you just trying to get on TV or just on YouTube?
I'm just going to start my own YouTube channel. Just completely separate out of music. It's going to go on that.
Nice.
So yeah, like I've just kind of I've not done anything that I'm like I haven't done a live stream. I've not touched live streams at all. I've done the podcast. The podcast came right at the beginning of COVID. Yeah. And it wasn't because of COVID. It just kind of fit. I'd always planned to do it. I had all the equipment before I started doing it, before COVID hit. And then it hit. And I was like, this is perfect to just get this podcast up and going. Yeah. You're like the 55th episode. So
wow.
It's kind of like, it's good. But yeah, I've not really changed what I've done, apart from just I've had a bit more time on my hands, so I've done a bit more things that I've always wanted to do that I haven't had time to do, really.
have you appreciated the sort of downtime of not traveling or touring so much, or you just really missed it, or a bit of both?
I don't know, a bit of both. Like I enjoyed it at the beginning, really enjoyed it because I hadn't.
But now you're hungry to get back out there.
Yeah, man, you know how it is. I'm sure a lot of people are the same. Like I haven't been back in the UK for this long for like 6-7 years now. So it's been really nice to spend time with my family and kind of see them and do all of that. But now I'm ready to kind of get going. What about you?
I can't wait. I just can't wait to hear some loud music or just go on adventures, see new people. Like even was it last week? But we had a little stroll down the canal into King's Cross. It's quite nice around there now. Yeah. And just like seeing people again, it was nice. Just saying hello, things like that. I felt like, wow, this is quite exciting. Yeah.
It's amazing how much we need human connection.
Massively, yeah.
I think we've just like been deprived of human connection for so long. It's just like, I think everyone's now a bit like, fuck it. Let's just do what we, let's just do
it could be epic this summer, to be honest, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's looking good now, right? Everything. So hopefully, gigs are coming in. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good summer. It's gonna be a good summer. But what's the plan with the Jansons project?
Man, I want to make loads of records. I haven't really done proper touring yet. Yeah. I really want to things like South America and stuff like that. I really want to try and hit those sort of markets and stuff like that. I'm really happy. I think it's my strongest sort of release schedule this year coming up. Yeah. I also want to I love working with new singers and stuff like that. I want to make real big records and I want to maybe start looking. I'm not at that level. Well, not there yet, but I want to think about like an album and even even doing a label as well. Really want to. I've always wanted to do my own label, and I think this year's basis is really keep building the profile, get a lot of releases out, work on socials. I was talking earlier, and then really sort of go to the next stage. So I think having a label as well is another thing to add to you, and that people will buy into and stuff like that, and it just makes you bigger and stuff like that. And obviously, if you're making a record that you love and no one else wants to sign, you can put it out yourself.
It's the only reason why I started a record label, really.
Yeah.
2 reasons: so you can control your release schedule, and because you don't have to abide by any record label's sound.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you really believe in a record, and no one else will put it out, and then that's what it's there for, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And realistically, nowadays, you don't need a record label, especially when there's no touring.
You do and you don't. Yeah, I mean, when you're starting out, if you get on the bigger labels, and obviously it's going to get you more exposure. But when you're at a point, I know what you're saying. It's like you can do it all yourself, can't you?
I think record labels. I was having this conversation today again, actually, and it's like there's two things. The record is so good that everyone likes, right? You release a record, and it's on a bigger label. So they kind of give it a bit of a head start, right? And it kind of goes out to a few people. But because it's on a big label, more people hear it than what it would do if you were to release it yourself. Yeah. Because the record's so good, it just smashes, right? And then you have a different career. But also there's that other side of it where you're releasing a record on someone's label and it doesn't do that well. And then it's like, well, what did I gain from that?
Yeah.
Nothing. Apart from...
Well, what I've learned is contracts as well. You've got to be careful with contracts. And when you're younger and stuff like that, you just sign everything, don't you? You never realize what you're signing. You sign your track for life. For life, yeah. For life, things like that. So
what do you like to sign your track away now? How long do you usually like? Will you be like?
What years? 10 years max.
Yeah.
For me, so ideally 7 or something, but 10, but definitely not for life. No. So that I think 10 years is plenty, isn't it? I think. What about you?
Yeah, I try and push for 5 if I can.
Okay, yeah.
Just because if the record's not doing well anyway, 5's fine. If the record's an absolute smash, well, you have to negotiate again, really, because the label's making much more money than the artist in the grand scheme of record sales.
Yeah, some contracts are mad now, aren't they? Like, so the splits. I'm like, whoa, it's a bit unfair.
And then they try and sign your publishing.
Job anyway, isn't it?
And then they try and sign your publishing, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
and you're giving me no advance. Like, what?
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
No, fuck that. But how does it work with your engineering? Do you?
Well, yeah, I'd say 50-50.
Yeah.
On the publishing and like a day rate, whatever. But obviously, you've got your mates that you know, but new people now, it's just that sort of say.
Yeah.
Or if they're not happy with that, then you just say, if you have a lesser split, less percentage, and you just pay a higher day rate.
Yeah.
And most people just want to have the cheap day rate and the 50-50 split, which is fair anyway, because if you're working a record together, I think that's a fair deal, to be honest.
It's
obviously they've come with a track to do a bit of mixing, and it's different. But if you come in starting on the track, then I think that's more than fair.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. It's a tricky situation at this moment in time, because I'm hearing it more and more, and I've had it where people, I've had like writers, like I bring writers in, like let's say a keys player or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, literally, can you do this?
Hmm.
And then they want like half the record and half the sales. And I'm like,
wow.
You didn't even produce it. Like, you've done nothing apart from play a few things. And but then there's the other side of it, where there's a lot of artists that get their records made and then not willing to kind of give the credit of.
I think it's just, I just say the word fair. Just be fair. Just think how you want it to be. That's what I always think. Like, for whatever singer, I say, look, you've done the lyrics, you've sung on it. It's definitely 50-50 on a record. So
totally.
Totally. I just think, But I suppose that's tricky with keys players and stuff. If you just come in, I don't know if that's a session thing or whatever, a session musician, or I suppose the record as well, you can sort of say, but if they've done a lot of melodies and a lot of music to it, then it's only fair.
Yeah,
I don't really know. Yeah, it's all different, isn't it?
It's so touchy, and I think the one thing I would say to anybody that's doing it is just like put the rules out from the day one.
Very start, that's it. Just get it all clear from the beginning. So we get messy otherwise. You're totally right. Yeah,
clear and signed off. Because otherwise, it's just game over.
Yeah, it gets messy. Definitely,
it gets proper messy, but. So, as the year kind of goes on, have you got releases that you can talk about or not?
Well, I've got one that comes out tomorrow, which I'm excited about. It's called Medicine.
So when this podcast is out, the record's gonna be out. So, So what label's it on?
It's on Circus. Basically, I did a track with a singer called Day Perf Alien, Canadian singer called Nisha. Probably my best track, biggest track.
Cool.
Did really well for me. This is like a sort of a follow-up. Mm-hmm. We actually did it. We recorded it before the pandemic.
Okay.
And it's called Medicine, and it's got the words in it. And it was gonna release it in August.
Yeah.
The pandemic struck, and we thought, a bit touchy. Nobody gets so offended now. Might offend some people.
Yeah.
So it's been put back. We kept changing the dates, but then we thought, right, let's just get it out now. It's about that sort of time.
Yeah. I'm
really excited about it. It's getting some good feedback already. Hopefully, it'll do well. We'll see. It's quite sort of a rappy sort of
oh, cool,
old school sort of house.
I'll check that out.
Sort of what's the words? A bit like technotronic sort of vibes.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, and then I've got some remixes. I've done a remix Hot Since 82's single Naboo with Nic Fanciulli, which comes out end of April.
Yeah. And
then I've got Hot Creations with James Solis Bursky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got another thing together on Hot Creations that comes out in May. So
sick, man.
And I'm working on a record for Snatch, the Dunmore Brothers.
Yeah.
Which sounded really nice. It's a really good vocal. So busy, mate. Yeah. Then yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, man. That's amazing. Mate, I've got so much music coming out. Yeah. I've got to release every month until December, pretty much.
That's what I've pretty much done. Yeah. Trying to get a monthly release. I think you kind of need it, don't you? Yeah,
I think I've got 6 releases on my label this year, and then 5 releases on other people's labels.
Do you sign music as well to your label? Or is it literally just for you?
So I will eventually. But I started the label in 2020. We planned all 2019, start the label 2020. We had a whole release schedule, and then the pandemic hit, and we carried on releasing. We pulled one release out and kind of moved a few releases around. But my plan was always to sign people in 2021. But because the pandemic's around, I don't think I've like grasped the whole label thing yet and learned enough about releasing music. So I kind of want to like use my own music as like a test rat, like kind of. It's such a big responsibility releasing music.
How's it all going? How's it gone?
It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's been an interesting experience, if you know what I mean. There's parts of it that I've absolutely loved, and parts of it that I just am like, this is shit. Because you start to get to know more about the politics of who runs the industry. If you know what I mean, you've got like 10 people that pretty much just what's the word? They choose whether your record's gonna either be played on radio or get playlisted on playlists, and that's the only.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
and
I struggle with Spotify a little bit.
What do you struggle about?
Just getting a few playlists, but getting like you said, the editorial playlists and stuff like that. See, some people are always in it. I'm thinking, get me in some. Do you know what I mean? Things like that.
It's all political.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a horrible way. It's like, it is that classic, who you are, who do you know, who does the record label have a relationship with?
Yeah.
Like, who's your mate? If you know what I mean. It's just very much that, which I don't think is right, because it's not done on quality music.
Yeah.
It's done on the other things, if you know what I mean.
Because I go on Spotify, I use it a lot just to find new music as well. When you go and look a little journey, don't you? And there's some amazing records that have got like maybe 1,000 streams for that. I'm thinking it's a shame because they're just so good, some of them. And just I suppose that's how it is on everything, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think it's like it's interesting because at this moment in time, I've said this loads of times on the podcast, that like at this moment in time, DJs, producers, like in the house and techno or electronic fields, the only way we can see if our records are doing well, usually what we have, there's a few things. There's when we play the records in the clubs, we can see how the record sounds and how the crowd responds to it. When our friends play our records in the clubs, we see videos, we see people Shazamming, we see all of that.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have radio. And then on top of that, you have Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all of the above. Yeah. Now, we literally only have radio and DSPs.
Yeah.
And I think for me, this is purely for me. I don't know if this is for everyone else, but purely for me is like I'm now purely basing my records on how successful they are by statistics. And
definitely.
It's depressing. Yeah. It's fucking depressing.
I'm just saying, mate. Yeah.
It's really depressing.
Do you use that app? What's that app? The Song Stats.
Stats, yeah.
Yeah. You go in there and see how it's all doing and stuff like that. And
I've got.
But radio and Spotify. I think that's the gauge. Obviously, Beatport as well. If you're charting well, whatever. And I always like to see if DJs are charting it. That's the one thing for me. To get a lot of DJs charting the track, it's always a good sign as well. It's
tough, man. It's a strange, especially now. It's a strange time. And I think the thing is with you is now is your like real strong time with like your regular releases. But it's gonna change for you, man. Your music's fucking amazing. It will change. Like you'll see it, and it might take a longer time, but don't fucking give up, man. Because
I need to. I just need to. I need to get my socials on point. That's the thing I'm really struggling with.
Mate, I can help you with it.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like, especially Instagram and like just to build your followers up and stuff like that. And I know people can inflate their stuff like that, but I'll never do that. That's just not me. Things like that. I think it would shoot you shooting the foot in the long run anyway.
Yeah, I think it would as well. I think realistically, you just got to be organic.
Yeah.
Don't worry about followers. Don't worry about. At the end of the day, you just need a good product, and the music will eventually kind of go hand in hand.
Consistency, mate. Like I said, you've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
With the music, the releases, stuff like that. Totally. Yeah, that's the way to go, I think, definitely.
And socials at this moment in time are weird as well because there's no clubs. So
there's a lot of people just posting pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever.
DJs have just yeah, exactly. DJs have just turned into like fucking like couch potatoes and have nothing to fucking talk about. And they're like every DJ is trying to find their unique selling point of how they can kind of become.
You can see it, can't you?
Oh, massively. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. Because I do the same. I'm like regurgitating videos that were taken like 3 years ago, or like regurgitating pictures of like that I should have posted years ago that I haven't. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then like one day I'm posting a picture of me in like LA, and then the next day I'm posting a picture of my fucking fluffy grey hairs that are coming out because I haven't had a haircut for God knows how long.
Hey, you got the beard anyway. You just post that every day. That's impressive enough.
The beard is honestly has helped my career so much. People don't.
Epic, mate. It's pretty epic.
People don't understand how much this beard has helped my career. and I'm seriously not joking. It's that.
But it is, you've got like it's a big focal point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It makes you stand out.
It's that thing that people like. Classic example: Green Velvet and his green mohawk, right?
Yeah.
We all know that's not a real mohawk. Well, I hope we all do. Sorry, Cash, if no one knows, but I've kind of spoiled that. But that's his thing, right? His glasses and his green mohawk. Obviously, he writes the best music ever, if you know what I mean, and has been grandfathered into like some of the best house artists ever, house and techno artists ever. But he's got something to hold on to. Deadmau5 did exactly the same.
Yeah.
Deadmau5.
Daft Punk, you got to say as well. Is that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think sometimes it goes back to what we were saying. It's just finding what your USP is. And
100%.
And whether that is being a fucking geeky synth dude, like I don't know you well enough, but everyone has something. It's just finding what that is.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I agree. Yeah, no, talking total sense.
Would you ever do like a live show?
I mean, we always thought, do you know what? I do want to, but I think what I don't chat about this. What I want to do is this is how I want to do it. I set my label up and start building the live show around releases. So maybe I'll limit myself for those releases on my label. Maybe I limit myself to like a couple of synths. So it's a really distinctive sound, like maybe a drum machine. So it's really tailored for live as well. So there's no samples or anything. So you're literally using like 2 bits of hardware, maybe a polysynth and monosynth, and like a drum machine, and really build maybe 10 tracks around that, something like that. Maybe get a couple of original vocalists on it. That's the sort of vision I have on that. I think it could be really cool. See, that's another thing that makes you stick out as well if you did that. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is if you came out now as an artist that just does everything live, like you're a step above every DJ.
Yeah.
You have a unique selling point. And how do you get that across to followers or fans? There has to be a cool way to do that. There has to be a really interesting way to do that. Kink is the king of this.
And Bicep looks great, doesn't it? I mean, their visuals and that thing is wicked.
Who's
stuff
that?
Like that. Bicep.
Yeah.
The new thing. They've nailed that live thing, haven't they, to be honest, as well.
Chemical Brothers.
Oh, mate, they're my favourite.
Same.
They're so ridiculous. Everything, the visuals, stuff like that. I've had some of the best times.
Yeah.
And they're epic, man. That new album's like, they're so consistently good.
Yeah.
Like, how many albums have done? It's just like, they've never like, it's always been, they're all amazing, yeah.
For me, for me, their albums have got better.
Yeah, I think the last one's wicked. So it's one of my favourites.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. And I'm like, how? But the clever thing that they do is that they treat their artist career like a band.
Yeah, they're like a band pretty much. It's like an album, isn't it? They don't really do singles or EPs. It's literally an album maybe every year or something like that. They are like a band.
Yeah. Which I think...
You wouldn't call them DJs and that, would you? They are like a band. Really.
Yeah, I think they started as DJs back in the day, but I think it very quickly went to a band. Obviously, they in the 90s and early 2000s, that's kind of what, like Prodigy, like Moby, everything like that. They were Groove Armada. But I think there's a gap in the market.
I mean, I think I'm really going to think about that, because I think once you get the label up and running, I think that's a really good way to do it. Put the releases out. But the thing is, always from a live show, you need to have a body of work that people really know as well. I wouldn't just want it. I'd want it to be proper, like you do, not just like, people say do live, they're just using Ableton and
fuck that.
Not that. It needs to be a proper live of your music using actual gear. Do you know what I mean?
And it's also expensive. It's expensive to do. Like
and it's a lot of time. But I think like if you can do it, like you said, it's going to take you up a whole other notch, isn't it?
100%, man.
Yeah.
And if you can write the right records, which I know you can, that are super cool, but also could like potentially cross over. Not trying to be commercial, but like Chemical Brothers, like their shit's fucking cool and sound amazing on the radio and in a club. If you can do that, like you're onto a fucking winner. But the branding has to be right around you as well. Like
everything you need to do that. You need a good team. Everyone needs to be around there, really all coming together to make it all happen. Do you know what I mean?
And you've got to be willing to lose a lot of money to start with.
Yeah.
Because that's...
don't have at the moment,
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily lose money, but it's... Oh, my light's out.
Yeah, you've got to invest in yourself. If you want to do something like that, you've really got to do everything to make it happen.
Yeah. I think 100%. You could do that, man. I really think you could do that.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. You know what? I will start... I'm thinking about it. I've been talking about it a lot. And because I'm so happy with the releases I've got now, to the point of the year, I can really start. I mean, I need to get the label going. Once that's going, that's the sort of way I want to focus. Maybe 2022. Start really thinking about that. But I just want to have a few more big records that just will build me up, and then definitely,
yeah, man. That's it. What's your thoughts on dance albums, though?
Well, if you like Chemical Brothers and those sort of people, then it makes sense. But I don't really get for me personally, I don't understand why DJs do it, because most of the time they just sound like they're all quite similar, just like club tracks. To me, it's almost like you're wasting your time. That could be like 4 really good EPs. Do you know what I mean? Unless it sounds like an album, you've got like different styles in it a little bit, or you've got like your comfort zone a bit. You've got a bit more personal things like. It doesn't have to be pure club music all the time. Yeah, that's how I look at it. And I think with albums, you want to collaborate with different people, musicians, singers. Yeah, it's a big project, isn't it? Yeah, not just like making EP as a whole. It could take like 6 months to a year to do. Yeah, so you've got to put everything into it. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like some of my favorite like electronic albums are not actually electronic. They're not DJs. Justin Martin's album, his Ghettos and Gardens. I don't know if you've heard that. Have you heard that?
No, I'll check it out though.
Mate, it's fucking unbelievable. Like that is probably one of my favorite electronic albums. And but then I'm kind of like borderline. It's like Chemical Brothers albums, Faithless albums, Groove Armada albums. They're all kind of electronic acts, but they're more like bands.
They are. Yes, I mean, yeah.
So I think like Rufus Du Sol. Do you know Rufus Du Sol?
No.
So they're Australian band, huge, absolutely huge in America and Australia, and they're pretty big here. I think they sold out Alexandra Palace.
Wow.
They're pretty fucking big. Great bunch of guys as well. But I think they initially started out as DJs. I could be like people in the comments fact check me because I could be wrong. But I think they started out as a DJ. I was talking to Sonny about this earlier, actually.
Right.
And then they switched to like live only, and
Right.
it went from when it was live only. They have a singer, they have the guy on bass and on the moog and the drums, and they have a guy on keys, and they just started smash. Same type of music. They were releasing the same music. They release songs. They're like songs, and it's very. It's not cheesy, but it's very accessible.
Yeah.
But
that to me, that is like the ultimate.
Yeah.
If you can make music that's, like I said, it's really accessible but still really credible. Get that line, it's like you're gonna smash it. If you can get that, that's a fine line, but it's genius if that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and their branding's on point. Everything that they do is just on point. And I think the live thing helped them because they have something to look at. Because there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
It adds something really special. To the point where they sell out Red Rocks in America like 3 nights in a row, and they sell out in an hour. It's wild what they can
do.
Yeah.
I'll have to check them out. I must have heard of them.
You must have.
I've probably heard their music, but I'm not very good with names.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would have.
But man, I think it could be a good way to go.
Yeah. It's just taking that step, isn't it? I think for me, I need to just go, right, let's start making it happen. Maybe just say one day a week you're going to start working on your live projects or something like that.
Yeah, what have you got to lose, man? What have you got to lose?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you have to write music to earn money because you engineer. You've got your bill. You've got your bills covered.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of. I really hope there's a lot of things that start coming out soon. Because
what's your whole thought? How do you think? How do you think the whole DJ thing? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of hungry DJs out there for gigs when it all starts up. But I think, how do you think it's going to go? Because there's been a lot of breakthrough producers. I think how they going to come into it? Is it going to be the same sort of chunk of DJs going to have all the gigs again? Or are these new producers going to push through, or are they not going to? Or I'm going to see the dynamics. All sorts of pans out.
I think it depends what country you're in. Right. In the UK, I think we're going to see from the summer onwards, we're going to see the same lineups we all saw beforehand. Yeah. Clubs are going to be booking the ticket sellers, the headliners. And then under those headliners, you're going to start see the new kids on the block that have kind of pushed through with through the pandemic and kind of done really well.
Yeah,
I don't think it's weird because if I was a promoter, well, the lineups are out for a lot of clubs already.
Yeah, I was thinking, do you think that's because of I've seen the big festivals? That's probably
festivals are last year's bookings.
Bookings. That's why.
Festivals are last year's bookings.
Yeah.
But I've seen quite a few club lineups, and I'm like, I kind of could have guessed that. But for me, it doesn't annoy me, but it's kind of disappointing. I'm like,
I thought things might have changed a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it seems to just a little pause and it's just back to normal.
Well, I think it's the most perfect time as if I was a promoter or a club owner to be like,
experimental.
I just have to like open my doors and people are going to come rushing in. So why don't I bring up some like really fresh artists that have like come out from the pandemic, or they were growing before the pandemic, and I don't have to pay them as much because they don't have any selling history.
I mean, it's a good time for promoters, I think.
Exactly.
I mean, you probably the artists that you probably couldn't get through parties, you get easy now at a better fee probably, but then. Like I said, you're going to sell out, aren't you? And you can see if it's happening. Every party needs to sell out in a day.
I think 2022 is going to be a really interesting year because every quarter, I think you're going to have so much competition on touring. I think realistically, it's the best year is going to be 2023.
Yeah,
which is wild to think about because we're only just started 2021, but I think 2021 and till the autumn and kind of till the end of 2021 is just going to be a bit of a free for all. 2022, you're going to see a lot of tours, like actual artist tours.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, they're going to be stacked lineups, and it's going to be like in London, like 4 massive house parties house and techno parties in one night.
Yeah.
There's going to be the demand for it, I think, but it's going to be a big competition, and it's going to be based purely on like how many artists, how much value can you give the customer on stacked lineups and great club and cheap ticket. I don't know though. It could go completely the opposite, where promoters...
It's going to be interesting to see about the releases as well. But there's going to be so many records coming out over summer.
Yeah.
It's going to be like...
Yeah, it's going to be
holding back.
Everyone's been holding back, but I also think that's probably not the best thing.
No, I've been just constantly dribbling out tracks all through like that last year.
Yeah.
I think it's good to keep releasing music and just do music. You have that time to do music a little bit different. You know, you don't have to focus on
clubs,
massive bills and drops, whatever, and stuff like that. You can just go a bit more personal with the music.
Yeah, which I think that gives you like a bit more of a personality as an artist as well, right? You're not putting yourself in the one track mind of what everyone does when they have clubs, or what they think they should do because they want to be on a record label to get gigs, if you know what I mean.
I'll fall into that trap sometimes because I have to make it. I like the sound of this, but is it going to slam in the club and things like that? I'll go for that. Sometimes just the best time is just letting it flow, and if you're happy with it, you're happy with it.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed like this year especially. I'm releasing records that I play in my sets, but I don't expect other people to play them in their sets, and they're not straight up club records. And it's weird. It's weird. Like Run, my first release this year, I'd never played that in a club. It hasn't even touched a club. But I'd play it in a set, but would anybody else? I don't think they would. If you
probably would, maybe. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
But it's like, I think, you're right. In these situations, you can actually be an artist.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because why are we saying that? Because we should be like that anyway. Yeah,
you should, but I mean, you do, but sometimes you do, don't you? You're in there, you're thinking, you do think of a sort of a club environment and stuff like that.
But why do you
is it big enough? Does it sound big enough? You know, sometimes you add things thinking, I like it really stripped, but then I maybe need to add some more to it. You know, and sometimes I listen to some tracks and I think they're brilliant, and I don't do anything. Thinking sometimes, why can't I just be like that? I always want to add more things in and stuff like that. Thinking, it's so good. It doesn't really do anything. It's really simple. Yeah. But it just sounds amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
I need to add more stuff in. But then I suppose when you produce, you're hearing the same loop over and over again, you want to keep adding things, and it doesn't actually need it.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, no, totally. How do you do it when you're engineering though? Because you look at that like subjectively.
It's weird. Engineering, I'm really fast. Track a day sort of thing, easy to do it. But when I'm on my own, like I could take weeks on a record.
Really?
I keep thinking, is it good enough? And probably overthink it and care too much and stuff like that. And like someone said to me, you're never going to write. Someone said to my friends, goes, just keep making records, because you're never going to make. Not every record is going to be an absolute slammer, bona fide hit. Yeah. Just keep doing records. You know, a couple of them will do really well. A couple of them are going to be alright, but if you keep doing records, you're going to get more, and they'll just keep getting better instead of just keep focusing ages on one. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. Yeah. I think there comes a point when you can spend more time on your records. Yeah. It just depends, doesn't it? Because it's like, it just depends what you're trying to get out of releasing records. Because there's a lot of people out there that are just purely writing records to get on record labels to get gigs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't do that. Well, yeah, I just, like I said, I get inspired a lot. I think I really like that sort of melody or something. I want to do something on that tip. And that's how I approach it when I come in that day. I never have like a template of I've got to do it like this, and just like to see where it goes.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. I haven't actually written a song for myself for a long time.
Do it this week.
I'm not. I don't have a studio. And next week, I'm actually in London next week.
You're not got a studio? Are you? Okay.
I'm in London next week writing for someone.
Right.
But yeah, my studio's. I've been in this studio for 9 years, which is it's in my house here, and I realized I was getting the house decorated, and I realized I haven't changed my studio for 9 years, and I was like, I need to do something different in this room. So I've got.
Is your studio where you live then?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
And that's what I want as well. I want to have that's one reason I want to get to London as well. Is get a garden, maybe build a studio down the end of the garden.
Man.
So that's what I want.
It's the
so
best.
You can just have like an idea with the night, just go pop in there for a few hours, and your dressing gown, cup of tea, just to see what happens.
It's the best. I've had studio. So I've always where I live here. I've always had a studio in my house, and then I used to live in LA. Excuse me, one sec.
Actually, yeah.
I used to have a studio when I used to live in LA. I had a studio externally, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" But I wrote shit music in there. I probably had the studio for 6 months. No, less than that. 4 or 5 months, and I didn't write a single good record in that studio.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like going to work. And I treat the studio like going to work for me. I do treat it like that. I don't know how you do, but I'm like, okay, I wake up, go to the gym, train, do what I need to do, and then get in the studio and work till a certain amount of time and then leave. But in going to somewhere, I kind of just felt a little less relaxed maybe.
Yeah, no, you have to be, that's something you have to be comfortable and relaxed. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's nice where I am, but I'll be more relaxed at home. So, I mean, I've got everything on my laptop at home. I can't really do it in headphones. I don't like it. No. I just not for me. No, I like to be by speakers and in space and stuff going. And
you smash your ears as well, and you're like,
I know some because you'll get excited with headphones before you know it. You're pumping it out, and not good. I've got a little bit of tinnitus as well, so
go careful.
Got to be careful, Yeah.
Do you write loud?
Do you know what? I don't. I do, but I have moments where this is sounding wicked and you get excited, turn it up. But in general, no. But when you're working with people, they always want it fucking really loud. And it's like you kind of have to because it's like that. Yeah, but I try not to.
Yeah.
You don't hear it probably when it's really loud either,
I write really loud and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But my ears...
All the time?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But my ears are good. Like, touch wood. I have really sensitive hearing.
Mine are good, but there's a little bit of ringing now and then, especially if I've been painting it for like 10 hours on the speakers, which I suppose anybody's going to get on there.
Yeah. Got to take breaks. Have you bought any new gear over lockdown?
I have. So sometimes one of my friends has bought these Roland Boutique. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
It's the SEO2. It's wicked. It's like a little 3 oscillator monitor, like Roland and Studio Electronics together. For me, it's crazy really? Fat, wicked. But I mean, my best thing's just on my OV6. That's what I use most.
It's beautiful, the OV6, isn't it?
Yeah. You're in Logic as well, aren't you?
Yeah, you.
Good man. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I seem to only get people that write on Logic on this podcast, and we're like the only ones that just bitch about Ableton.
Oh, mate, I know. Good old Ableton. I don't know. Everyone's got some good things, but I don't know. Just all the audio editing and the arranging and stuff, I think it's so much more slicker.
Yeah.
Than Logic personally. It's what you're used to, but
that's the thing. Who did I have on? I had Archie on the podcast the other day.
He's Logic as well, wasn't he? Yeah.
He was Logic. Now he's gone to the fucking light side.
Oh no.
And he was saying like, I just love Ableton so much now, and I'm like, okay. He was like, you should change over, and I was like, okay. When you switched to Ableton, did you write better songs? And he was like, no. I was like, did your songs sound better on Ableton than they do on Logic? And he was like, no. And then I was like, well, why the fuck am I going to move over there? But I'm tempted to give it a go.
Do you know what I'm doing? Because I do rewire it with Logic for certain things. Not so much now because of the new update with the sampler and everything like that. But I'm Ben. He uses Ableton, and we're using a collab project. It just makes sense to be in one door. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's just a weekend. I think you'd be the same. You know what? You just need to know the shortcuts and navigate around it. But I'm pretty sure weekend, on it, you'll be pretty up to speed on it.
Pretty much. Give yourself a month and you're cooking. But it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah. It's like mixing and Logic's so much better for me and stuff like that. I love it.
I love the mixer in Logic. I love how
I do. I love how it just all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Do
you have all of your synths MIDI'd up and everything like that, so you can literally just pick a synth and send MIDI to?
Yeah. Put it all like MIDI'd up. Yeah.
I might need to call you on that because I'm in the process of.
I mean, sometimes it's a bit of a headache, but in general. But I've got like some good sync boxes as well. I've got the old like Roland drum machines. Which is really good. But if you've got any questions, just let me know. It's pretty straightforward, really.
It is, because I do have it, but what I struggle with is like I want to build a template in my Logic that
I've got. That's worth doing. If you're using hardware, that's really worth doing.
Yeah, because I've got a template that I always use, but I want to get the template so it's like fully every hardware synth is on there.
Yeah,
and I can just go to it. That's kind of what I want to get.
Have you been really nerdy and actually got all pictures of the synths on the tracks? So you can say that's ultra nerdy.
Yeah, man, that's what I want to do, because I just want it to be
worth doing. Yeah,
I want the flow to be like really flowed, so I can be like, this needs to be this, or I want this drum machine on here. Like that's what I want, really.
Yeah, do it. It's worth doing.
Yeah, it's going to be a process, but
it just doesn't take that long. Actually, I did it in like a few hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just pretty easy.
Do you use like a MIDI? Sorry, this is super geeky. Do you like use the MIDI hub?
I've got so much stuff in here. Like I've probably got about 50 USB plugged in at the moment. But then a lot of the stuff's 5-pin MIDI as well. So I've got a couple of MIDI interfaces as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes a few things do go a bit leery, but in general, it's pretty solid.
How have you got 50 USBs? What
Mate, it's madness, mate. Hard drives, everything's USB now as well, isn't it? And I don't know why I've got so many though. I've got a lot. I've got a hard drive. I've got about 10 hard drives on my computer, which is stupid as well. I need to get one.
Are you on a laptop? Do you produce on a laptop, or you produce?
I've got the Mac Pro.
The Dyson Hoover.
Yeah. It's good, mate. To be honest, I had it. I got it in 2014. I wouldn't mind getting a new one now because it isn't what it used to be. And like some of the plugins now, like Diva and stuff like that.
Rinse.
A couple of them, and it's like the CPU is crushing. You know what I mean?
The Roland Cloud's the worst.
Yeah, I haven't got that. People rave about that. Is it good?
It's great, but it fucking destroys your CPU.
Does it?
Yeah. They haven't got it down to a T where it doesn't destroy you. And
it probably will do eventually, but
they're constantly updating it, which means that it crashes a lot, crashes your Logic. So if you've done a project and then they update it and it automatically updates, then you go and open the project and it's like a bitch to open sometimes.
I know that feeling.
It's so annoying, but I think also part of that is Logic's a bit glitchy. It's not the best for things like that.
Mine's pretty good at the moment, touch wood.
Yeah. It's just that odd plugin just gets you, and it's like, you're a fucker. You just destroy my life for a few hours.
Put it out the folder, the components folder, and put it back in.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But it's just a ball ache. It's like, I shouldn't have to.
Like I said, the worst, it keeps crashing because it's saying that plugin's crashing or something like that. I know what you mean.
Yeah. One of my mates, Born Dirty, he's like a producer, DJ, French guy based in LA. He, at the beginning of lockdown, he was like, mate, I'm giving up on PC. On a Mac, on Mac, I'm going PC.
On Mac, really?
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck Mac."
Oh, that's even worse, isn't it?
And then he built this insane PC.
Yeah.
And literally, like, I was like, "Mate, you're gonna regret that. Like, you're gonna regret it." And it's like when somebody comes off iPhone and then goes onto like Samsung. I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna regret it, but do your thing. Like, you've got to do your thing." And then he regretted it within 2 weeks and was like, what the fuck did I do?
Is he back on a Mac now then?
So he built a Hackintosh.
Right.
Which he's the one that's trying to get me on Ableton, like, for the last 2 years as well.
Yeah.
he's like kind of anti-establishment when it comes to like writing music. He's like, it's ridiculous how he works in his brain, but I love it. But he built this Hackintosh, which is practically a Mac PC kind of, but you get to build it like insane. So
mega specs.
Yeah, ridiculous, and he loves it. But
you think he's going over the dark side? I know.
Well, I don't know because I like having I just produce on a laptop. I don't have anything else.
So the laptops are amazing now, to be honest.
Yeah. And I have like, it's annoying because I have like 2 hard drives on my laptop screen because just because I have my Dropbox on a laptop on a hard drive.
Yeah.
And then I have like my backup. But it's like, they're so expensive nowadays. They're just getting more and more expensive.
Well, the MacBooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently the new ones, basically mega, the M1 thing or something, that's to be really good, especially if you're on Logic as well.
Really?
The performance is supposed to be insane on it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like the next batch that they bring out because I think...
Yeah, that's what you were saying about the next one. Apparently it's going to be the ones.
Okay. Yeah, I think the next one is going to be... Or ones from... Yeah, the next ones from what they've just released is going to be amazing because they've done a few years of their own chips and now they would have like mastered it. I
do like the thought of producing a laptop because it can be like a desktop when you come to your studio, but then obviously you've got it everywhere. So if you go to the States or something, you can still what you like just to make a tune, can't you? It's all there.
That's what happened to me. I used to write on an iMac and I loved the iMac. The iMac was great and it was powerful and you had a big screen and it was great. And then I realized I had a laptop as well, but I just never transferred my projects or had... It was just another thing to do. And I was just like, okay, I just need to buy a very good laptop and just produce off that.
That's it. Yeah.
I think I'll always do that, really, unless I went more studio based and I'd buy the Dyson and just go balls heavy and just like get the best one.
There's a new one, isn't it? It's like a bloody cheese grater or something. It's a new one. It's like a mortgage.
Mate, it is.
It's insane.
Even,
what are you playing at?
Even the iMac, the iMac Pro that they put out.
Yeah, the black one.
The black one.
That's like a mega wedge as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Mate, it's like if you spec it up, you're talking 20 grand, and you're like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. But then if you think about it,
who can afford that? Like, it's got to be for like professional companies.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Most people couldn't afford that just for home, could they?
Not in music. Not in music. I think it's more developers like film developers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need that spec for music anyway. It's more the graphic stuff.
Yeah.
Music, isn't it?
Yeah, or like gamers and stuff like that. But I don't think gamers are on Mac at all, really. But yeah, they're fucking expensive, and they're getting more expensive. So
just keep getting money out. Yeah.
I wonder what's next. I wonder if there's going to be another company.
What, another computer company?
Yeah, that just comes out and like fuck you, Apple and PC.
So what? I'm surprised there's not.
Exactly. This is my theory. Like, why?
You really think there must be? Like, yeah. It's weird. It's only just them two.
It's the same with phones, right? There's only 2 things. Well, now there's 3 because there's Google, but Google still uses Android. Like, why is there not something else?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like, there should be more competition for that, definitely.
Well, I think
there needs to be more competition. It's just more fair for people.
Well, that's the thing. Competition brings innovation.
Yeah,
right.
100%. Yeah,
and keeps prices down. Like when you're walking around in the street and you have your laptop on your back and your phone in your pocket, you are walking around with a fuck ton of money.
You are, yeah.
And you're just like, it's wild. But we're all fucking suckers and we still just buy into it.
Yeah, I do, mate. I'm a sucker for technology, I must admit. I always need...
No shit, mate. No shit.
That's all British stuff, though. No, I mean, like the phones. Like, I need to get the new one. I haven't actually. I'm old now, but
I'm different with phones. I keep them until I can't see anything on it.
Really?
Yeah. And
just this was old now. Mine's a few years old, but I'm due a new one.
Get it, man. Get some new synths. I'm like, what's your thoughts on modular?
No, it looks amazing, but I don't know. Like, do you actually get any tunes done? Well, maybe you do, but that's not my style of music either. Maybe if you're a techno purist sort of guy, but if you're a house producer, something like that, which I don't know. I find it a bit. I don't know, and I think it could be dangerously addictive as well. I think if you start getting into it, plus I haven't got the room. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm thinking about getting a rig. I'm thinking like Dopefer do like a rig, like a 1000 rig or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could be cool.
I think it would be good about it if you really start and you really understand everything, because you can build it up and you really know everything about it. Although it looks confusing when you see it on like people's videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think if you start from scratch and you really probably understand the synth more than your actual
synths. Well, I think it will allow you to understand all your other synths as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I think it will give you a more understanding. So it could be a good thing.
But
I'll turn around my opinion. Yeah.
This time next week, selling all your gear. Have you seen like Deadmau5 Studio?
Mate, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
What the actual fuck? I wouldn't know what to do.
It's so good. I know. That's everything about it is awesome, isn't it? The size of everything.
Have you seen Hans Zimmer's?
Mate, he's God to me, basically.
Same.
Unreal, isn't he?
I've got
isn't his like wall just pretty much modular? The whole thing in his house, isn't it? And his wallpaper is modular, basically, isn't it?
And it's not any modular, it's Moog. It's all Moog. And you're like,
he's got to have that, hasn't he?
How? Like, I know he's worth money, but his wife must hate him because he must spend so much money.
Like, he's mega. Man, do you know what about Hans Zimmer? Sometimes I sit in the studio, I have it really loud. I'll just like play like the Inception soundtrack or one of the like, ending film credits from his films. Just makes you feel epic listening to it.
Do you have Masterclass? Have you been on Masterclass?
No, but the guy what's Masterclass?
Masterclass.com.
Is it Mix and Masters? No, is that it?
No, Masterclass.com is like a website where you can watch. It's like a lesson thing.
Did he do one?
Yeah.
Or something, didn't he? Have you watched it?
Mate, I've watched it about 5 times.
Is it good?
So good.
Mate, I'm gonna watch that now.
It's so good. You got to pay to like. I pay like a subscription. I think it's like 100 quid a year, 120 quid a year. But you get to see like as many classes as you want. And
have you learned a lot, or just good to look at?
I've done Gordon Ramsay's cooking ones and learned a few things.
All sorts. It's not just music.
It's massive. It's huge. It's like, but the thing is, it's not. You know, like this. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but you know, like there's these like house ones, like everyone's just doing like the same old. Here's how I make a tech house record. Like,
see, I've been approached to do some, but I'm sort of, unless I really need to do it, I'm sort of staying away from that because every producer's doing it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So
I get why they're doing it. Everyone's
it's money as well.
Chucking a bit of cash in someone's face and getting them to do some work, really. But I think you're doing the right thing for staying away. Do it on the best way. Do it on your own YouTube, and you earn all money from it. Eventually, or
you're right,
or pay somebody to make it for you with you and sell it yourself.
Yeah. Like, do you think people will still do it? Do you think producers and DJs will speak minutes? I think that would sort of slow right down, wouldn't it, when the gig starts happening again?
Well, this was what I was going back to from the beginning. It's like I want to build something that I want to do for the rest of my life, not just to fill a gap.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of things like sample packs and stuff. I don't know your kind of feelings on that.
Have you done one?
No.
No.
Have you? I got offered a few, but I'm just like, they would have to pay me ungodly sums of money to do it. And, and I'm not worth that.
My time's precious to me as well. I'd rather, what gives him, what you talked about earlier about being happy, and what gives me my most satisfaction is making a record.
Yeah.
Time. I mean, so.
And the only reason why I would do it is if somebody paid me stupid amounts of money and I know I'm not worth that much money to them. So
Yeah.
it's just like, well, it's just not worth it. Let's just agree that this is not a good thing. But Masterclass, the good thing about Masterclass is they clearly have insane money behind them.
So it's produced really well, yeah, and they get mega people. They've got Hans Zimmer,
Mate, Hans Zimmer, Gordon Ramsay.
I bet Gordon Ramsay's a good one there as well.
Really good. Really good. He's done 2 on there, and it's really good. The Gordon one is very like learning. It's very more so based on like you actually learn. The Hans Zimmer one is more talking about his process.
Right.
And mate, I could listen to him talk all day. It's like,
it's gosh, like, I bet that's fascinating actually, isn't it?
It's like gay porn, and I'm not even gay. It's great. But there's a few in there. Mate, sign up to it and just watch it. You won't write music for the next week because you'll just be watching it. But
mate, talk about subscriptions. How many subscriptions have you got?
Oh my God.
Mine are out of control now. I think I've got every like TV subscription thing like Netflix and all that, and every day there's a new music subscription. I'm like, I need that one.
How many OnlyFans subscriptions have you got? That's the real question. Subscriptions are wild, aren't they? They've got us.
They get out of control.
They've fucking got us. They've done it, and businessmen have just made so much money out of subscriptions over the last couple of years. But I'm Apple Music, Spotify.
I haven't got Apple Music actually.
I only got. I don't use this. Sorry if anyone from Apple Music's listening. I don't use Apple Music to listen.
No, I don't.
Because the app's just not good.
It's not, is it? I think it's bigger in America, Apple Music, isn't it?
Yeah, it is much bigger in America.
Yeah.
But the app's just not as strong as Spotify.
That's it. That's what it's down to. Like, it needs to be really user-friendly, quick.
Yeah. I think Apple with the streaming just was so behind.
I'm surprised that I haven't, because you think with like Apple, like the iPhone and everything and the Mac, it's just super user-friendly.
Yeah.
You're surprised I haven't got that nailed with their music streaming, to be honest.
I think what it is because what they try to do is amalgamate everyone's library with the streaming, rather than just going, because they still have the store, don't they? So you can still buy you can buy music from Apple Music.
You can still buy it. I thought iTunes is gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's now part of Apple Music, so you can still buy stuff.
Who buys it though? It's weird, isn't it?
I do. I still buy stuff.
I buy vinyl. That's it, really. Now I don't actually buy. But I don't buy digital music unless it's Beatport. I wouldn't buy. If I'm just listening, say if it's an album or something, I just listen to it on my Spotify or whatever it's now, stuff like that.
If I want to sample it, I'll buy it.
Basically, yeah.
But so I think that's what happened, is that they wanted to amalgamate everything, but what they needed to do is just do a completely different app that is just purely a streaming only app.
Yeah.
And then allows you to make playlists that you can then share with everyone else.
Yeah.
And all of that.
That's what's good about Spotify, isn't it? The playlists and stuff like that. It's not really the same on that, is it?
Playlists, so you can make playlists on Apple and people can follow your playlist, but it's not done publicly. So you can send a link to people and they can follow your playlist, and every time you update it, it gets updated for them, but it's not public. They can't. Apple's that closed system, and that's where Spotify's kind of taken over with playlists. Is that Apple's playlist? They have 5 dance playlists. Spotify has fucking thousands. There's a new one every day that comes up.
There literally is, isn't there? Yeah.
And then you have all the third-party ones that
all the DJ. It's the DJ one now, isn't it? The DJ ID, whatever you call it, or selects the.
You have track selects from them, and then obviously you have your third party. Like, I have a playlist. Like, everyone has a playlist now.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to push things, and then you got these companies that are like running huge ads on their playlist to get huge followers, and then they're selling like spaces in those playlists to get more streams. So it's like it's turning into a proper business, and I think it's great. Great. Apple's just doesn't like people making. Apple's great for the artist. Apple pays double what Spotify pays. So Spotify pays .004 and Apple pays double. So it's like 0.008, which is great. And that's what I love about Apple. I just wish they made it more user friendly so that more people used it.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll down the line. Maybe, I don't know.
It's kind of too late though now, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the other one? Amazon and stuff like that. Who even uses that?
I think all of these are bigger in different countries.
Different countries. Yeah.
Amazon Music's now, I think, at the same level as Apple Music.
Is it really?
Yeah. You got YouTube Music as well. Like, you got Deezer. You got Tidal. Jay-Z's got his own Tidal. Yeah. I used to be subscribed to that, and then I was like, this is awful. So I got rid of that. It was expensive as well. It was the most expensive. It was like $14 a month.
Was it? Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, it adds up. The subscriptions add up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of like plug-in ones now. They all go into that sort of route, aren't they? Music plugins and stuff.
Yeah, I
don't say the Slate one, man. That's well worth it.
Do you use it? Because I use Slate a lot.
I love Slate Digital. I think wicked. I think plugins are wicked. Yeah.
Sound Toys is still my favorite.
Yeah, Sound Toys. I use that. Sound Toys, Slate. A lot. Yeah. FabFilter as well, obviously.
I was going to say. I was literally just about to say. Do you use FabFilter?
Mate, it's the Pro Q3 is my main used plugin without a doubt. Easily.
Really, I emailed them to try and blag some software.
Did you get any luck?
No, fuckers.
I got that Soothe as well. I had a Soothe OX sound or something that sort of suppresses all your resonances and stuff.
Okay.
It's really good. Check it out.
Is that on FabFilter?
About it. No, it's called it's I think like a Swedish company.
Okay.
It's OEK Sounds.
Okay.
But it's like a sort of dynamic suppressor. Saying they got the horrible like free resonances. It sort of finds them. It just saves you a lot of work. But it's really transparent as well.
Really?
If you're using vocals or like loads of synths, it really just gets rid of those horrible resonances.
Oh, can you send me a link to that later?
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, it's really good.
That's great. Yeah, I think I need to buy the FabFilter stuff.
Yeah, mate. I think it's wicked. Yeah,
it's fucking expensive
as well.
It's proper expensive.
They're all expensive now, aren't they? They're all like I said, everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just. Fair play though. They know that there's a market there and people are buying it. You don't.
FabFilter. If you've not got a FabFilter Pro Q.
No, I've not got any FabFilter.
I change your life.
I used to have the cracks.
Yeah, mate. Well, yeah.
I had the cracks years ago, but I refuse to use cracks now. So
no, it's no point. Yeah. It messes up your system as well.
Fucks it.
Especially with Logic as well. You never open a project again.
Exactly.
Crashing all the time.
It suck, but yeah, I do need to get that big time.
Pro Q3, mate. That should be your next plugin, definitely.
Is the Pro Q3 the EQ?
Yeah, but it's like a dynamic EQ as well. So you can like sort of just select a frequency and just like literally compress that frequency with the EQ.
So it's like a multi-band compress EQ.
Yeah. It's wicked. Yeah.
Mate, did you just have a bottle change halfway through?
I've got 2 bottles.
I've got a lot of time for that.
And that one. That's my refill one. Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
I've got a lot of time for that. That's great. Mate, we've just done an hour and a half and I don't have a fucking clue how that happened. Let's wrap this motherfucker up. How can people follow you, listen to your music, etc., etc.?
Basically, Jansons Music, JANSONS Music. Basically, it's the same all over. On Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's all the same handle.
Sick.
Place to get me, yeah.
Amazing, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good chatting.
Yeah, let's keep in touch. Let's catch up when I'm in London as well, maybe.
Definitely, definitely.
In the evening or something. I think restaurants open up again next week.
Yeah, come to the studio.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. Keep in touch. Thank you so much, man. And keep safe. And that is a wrap. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. Please subscribe. Please hit comments. Please hit the review and share it with whoever you think is going to like it. Keep safe. I love you lots. Big love.